This summer, I really wanted to challenge myself, mentally and physically, with a caloric surplus. Now, why was this so mentally challenging towards me? Because losing over 85 pounds, having loose skin, having gyno, it's like when I add on weight, I can get very anxious. Or people can be very quick to judge me and say, whoa, you're still fat, you still have, fat to lose. But then in the end, my real goal really is, I really want to be a bodybuilder. I want to build on muscle and I want to have the best physique I possibly can. That way, when I get on another caloric deficit, I can look way better than I did last time. And it's just over time with bodybuilding, the results just become so rewarding. After my dirty bulk that I did last year around August, I was like, man, I gotta cut it out and I gotta actually eat clean and track my calories, every macro to macro. And when I did, the results paid off over 6 months when I started my real caloric deficit in December of 2023 up until June or May of 2024. That work I put in, it's all worth it. So I started my caloric surplus on June 25th. And why June 25th? Because that's when I finished my cut. I just came back from a deload week. So I kind of rested for a while and kind of not tracked my calories for a week, because I was tracking my calories every single day for 6 freaking months, man. It was rough, but I did it. The 240-pound kid, he'd be proud of me. So my goal was to gain 1 to 2 pounds every week, to minimize fat gain and to really help build my core over time and just add on more muscle and size. So I'm gonna go through my story, what happened during the caloric surplus, and showing kind of my transformation and what really you can do in a month through being in a caloric surplus. So I started off at 168. And my end weight was actually the exact weight that I calculated to be at the end of July, 175. Weighed myself today on July 25th, I was 175.6. Can you not believe that? I actually did it right. So I was gaining 1 to 2 pounds every single week. So what did I do exactly to attain that result? Well, first of all, I increased my calories. On a caloric deficit, I was eating around 2,000. So on my surplus, I'm now eating 3,000 because my maintenance is around 2,500 to 2,700. So that means my surplus from the calorie calculator had to be 3,000. Ideally in a surplus, I want to eat more protein, more carbs, and more fats even. One thing I did struggle on the caloric surplus was swapping from my low calorie alternatives to higher calorie alternatives, because I was eating low calorie foods for such a long time. So then I had to switch chicken breast to chicken thighs, or lean ground beef to, actual ground beef, steak, right? Whatever. Also, it's the same with sauces, right? My low calorie sauces into actual sauces, and with my carb sources like pumpkin, potatoes, I'm switching it in for more bigger sources of carbs that are more calories when you stack it on, like white rice, oatmeal. Now, like I was saying earlier, I was a bit conscious about my loose skin and my gyno, but I feel like it didn't affect me as much. But I was definitely getting a lot of comments on my social media posts telling me that I should still cut and that I'm still fat. But I don't listen to it because I'm following my goal of strictly gaining muscle. And the body dysmorphia is definitely there, where I feel like I'm gonna gain more fat, because growing up as the fat kid, when he ate a lot, he gained a lot. So that mentality kind of carries over. But when I realized what I'm doing this actually for, that limiting belief just goes away. So on this bulk, I also started a new split. I did kind of a 5-day split where I do chest, shoulder, arms, legs, rest, back, arms. I do 2 arm days because my arms are always my genetic weak point. But I felt like throughout this bulk, throughout this surplus, throughout the month, I was actually training arms more seriously. They grew an inch. My arms used to be 14.5 inches. Now they're 15.5 inches when they have a pump. They're 15 when they're rested, but when they have a pump, they're 15.5, which is freaking amazing progress. I mean, you can kind of see the leanness now too, a little bit, not really, but it's getting there. And when you eat more fats, I actually saw the side effects of higher testosterone levels, getting morning wood. Now, I'm not going to explain about it. I just felt overall I had more motivation, better sleep, and morning wood. I don't know. But eating more fats, eating more red meats, eating healthier fats, eggs, guacamole, I feel like it really did fix back my hormonal levels and my testosterone, because I do notice the testosterone side effects of higher testosterone. And with the extra carbs I was eating on the bulk, with the bigger meals I was having, with more pre-workout and taking more creatine now, instead of 5 grams, I switched it to 10 grams. It's like, bro, literally, I was getting the best freaking pumps of my life. My chest was just, whoa. My back was just, like, I literally felt my lats like contracting and cramping. My arms just puffed up, like couldn't even, my legs shaky. Just best pumps ever, redness, veins popping out. It was such a rewarding feeling after getting in more carbs, which I was getting in less carbs during my caloric deficit. When I did jump up to 176 and 179 on certain days, when I was eating more foods, when I was having cheat meals, yes, I had cheat meals. I had Chick-fil-A, Chinese food, get the bourbon chicken, it's high in protein. And I had like 5 Guys, and I like went out a lot with friends too, because I also turned 21 at the time. So it was like, oh yeah, let's try alcohol. And I learned that I hate alcohol. It makes me feel depressed, and it's just something I'm gonna avoid, because beer, alcohol is not really good for muscle growth, muscle gain, and it messes up your recovery and stomach too. Sheesh. But when I was around that 174, 176, 179 level, I started getting a little bit more conscious. I was like, I kind of need to eat lower calories, I think. But then the same day, next few days, when I still stuck to the 3,000, then the weight wasn't really jumping up as much anymore. So I was like, maybe it's just a food thing. It's just a volume thing. I'm drinking more water. I'm like really drinking more water, 2 liters, 3 liters, and eating more throughout the day. So don't be conscious about that when all of a sudden the weight just jumps up, because maybe your metabolism just isn't there yet, or the foods just haven't digested. Now, some extra tips that I went through during my caloric surplus that I didn't have to do a lot with it was definitely better recovery. Since I'm eating more and taking more supplements such as L-glutamine, turmeric for my joint health, and fish oils, I have way better freaking recovery outside of the gym, right? I don't get as sore, my body's recovered, my body's more flexible, and it's ready for another workout. And also with progressive overloading, that's another big thing, another big tip. You have to track your weights. You have to track your reps and sets, because I noticed on every single exercise throughout the month, I got stronger on. I got stronger on bicep curls, barbell rows, RDLs, chest press, incline Smith chest press, dips, even dips, like supported dips, like I'm getting better at those genuinely. So with this bulk, it really is just helping me out, gaining more strength in the gym, gaining my old strength back that I had during the dirty bulk, and really getting stronger every single week in the gym. Now, this doesn't have to do with the surplus, but I did go through a lot of freaking stress. Especially this month, I had a lot of things going on in my personal life, so there were some days where I couldn't track my calories, or I just didn't have the motivation to go to the gym or record videos or do anything. But really over time, I focused on the main goal. I focused on myself again. I'm like, I'm not doing this for others. I'm doing this for me, for myself, for the 240-pound version of me, for my social media, all the people that look up to me on my Instagram, on my YouTube. I'm doing it for them. So basically what I learned with this caloric deficit was you're gonna lose a little bit of abs, tiny bit. My abs are still a little bit the same they were as the deficit. When you jump back on a surplus from a deficit, you'll notice your body will fill up more. So then you'll have a better shape and a better overall physique than you actually did during the deficit. A more shaped body, a more full body. And that's the thing I liked about going from a deficit to a surplus was my body actually looked a little bit better than I think it did. I still did 10,000 steps a day, 8,000 steps a day, and I still did eat clean every day. Mostly I'll have the same breakfast, just eggs and toast. That's it. So here's what I looked like in June 25th. And here's me in July 25th. So I don't really notice many differences. Maybe you see a little bit in my arms. Maybe you see a little bit in my abs. Maybe you see a little bit in my chest. But overall, really, I felt like I made a little bit of progress. I feel like a month is a little too far, a little big. It's a big stretch. It's a big stretch. You can't really judge yourself within a month. And that's kind of the lesson in this video too as well, is your life will continue on. Sometimes when you're at the gym for a while, you won't see your progress in a month, but you'll see progress in 3 months or 2 months. So even if there is a little bit of progress, that is still progress made. So keep making the moves, keep jumping from place to place, and you got it. You'll win. Don't worry. Maybe I do need to gain a little bit of fat back. That way, I can be shredded as heck next year.